Serena, tell us if you feel comfortable about your conception journey. I mean, you...
Well, one thing that is definitely, I've never had that subject.
Yeah.
That's kind of intimate.
Well, you know, it's true.
Well.
But we're with moms.
We were it.
And this is only going to air to millions of people. So it's just between us girls.
Well, we were in Rome.
And this episode is brought to you by Chase Home Lending. Hey there, hi there, moms. Hey, Serena girl.
Hey.
What's happening? First of all, let me start by thanking Steve and Connie Ballmer and the entire LA Clippers organization for hosting us today. They are wonderful. Let's give them a round of applause. And you guys have been great partners to us personally, and we are incredibly grateful to be working with you. So thank you. We're here today to talk about my favorite subject, motherhood, with some of my favorite people, mothers, right? And what better guest to have, not just one of the greatest athletes in the world, but one of the greatest mothers in the world. Because we're backstage and I'm like, how are the girls? And this one, you know, you can't even say their names without just feeling it, right?
Yeah, they're pretty special. Pretty special.
So we're going to talk about motherhood, our motherhood journeys, and so much more. But I want to begin with just a fundamental question. I don't know about you. I've done a lot in life. I have accomplished things, degrees, and all the things. And I always knew that I wanted to have a career. I wanted to have an impact. But the one thing I always knew I wanted to be was a mother. For sure. I mean, it is the most important thing. And I knew that from a long, long time. And that's not always true. I mean, we all come to motherhood in different ways for different reasons. And there's no right way to be a mother, that's for sure. That's all I've learned. But I'm wondering, Serena, did you feel that way? Did you always want to be a mother?
Yeah, actually, I've always wanted to be a mom. Mm-hmm. I didn't know, there's a lot of things involved with becoming a mom, but I always knew that I wanted to be a mom, even when I was young, like playing with my dolls. Mm-hmm. And, I was always the one that just wanted to have kids. So it's always been something that I've always knew throughout my life. And I didn't know when, I just didn't know when it was going to happen, but I always knew that was one goal that I just definitely wanted to reach, and that was becoming a mom.
Yeah. And then you start trying to be a mom, which I did. And what I was never told was that the biological clock was real. And I try to tell a lot of young people that, a lot of young women, that clock is real. And Barack and I, we married in our late 20s, took our time hanging tough, and then we started working on conceiving. I got pregnant once and miscarried, which was devastating. And then we tried, and we had to do IVF for both girls, which, it's more of a thing than I knew then. I think more young women are talking about their conception journey, that it's not always guaranteed. But Serena, tell us if you feel comfortable about your conception journey. I mean,
Well, one thing that is definitely, I've never had that subject.
Yeah.
That's kind of intimate.
Well, it's true.
Well,
But we're with moms.
we were in.
And this is only going to air to millions of people. So it's just between us girls.
Well, we were in Rome.
And
One thing led to another. And then 9 months later.
so, but you
No,
were
but-
pregnant while you were still. So
Yes,
were you trying?
No, I wasn't trying to
Okay.
have a kid at the time, but
But you were not trying, clearly.
apparently. But you know what's so interesting about what you said about the biological clock?
Yeah.
I tell all my friends of age, freeze your eggs.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like that is the best thing that you can do as a woman and as you decide to go on this journey. Like, I feel like I did that and
You froze.
yeah,
your
yeah, yeah. I
eggs.
froze my eggs, and I felt like once I did it, because I was still playing professional tennis,
Yeah.
and I felt like I wasn't ready to stop, and I wanted to keep going, and it just wasn't time. And then all of a sudden, all this pressure came off of my shoulders. Like it was just all this weight just fell off my shoulders once I did that. Then I told a lot. Ever since then, I told everyone to do it, and someone.
How old were you when you?
I was in
decided
my
to freeze your
20s.
eggs?
So I was
Yeah.
like 27, 28. So,
Yeah.
so it was a really good time to do it. And also, someone told me to do it. So I always felt like it was really important for me to pay that forward. Because then nowadays with technology, there's just so much that you can do.
Yep.
Like you said, even with IVF, which, is also such a great journey as well. And, I just felt so much better.
Yeah,
That I actually
yeah.
had that option. So, so that's what we were able to do as well. So,
I mean, there's so much pressure on women just to, if you don't get that part right, there's still a feeling that something is missing. I don't know about all of you, but I know that when I struggled to conceive, I took that on like a personal failure.
yeah. I mean, I don't think that we have that conversation enough about how many times that either you conceive and you have a miscarriage or whether you conceive and it doesn't work.
Yeah,
So I feel like the only times it work when you're not trying to conceive, but
that's right.
I think that's just a really important part of just being a woman, and it just all these things. I'm all about just breaking down these walls and talking about the uncomfortable and
I
making them
agree.
comfortable and talking about things that
So you could
more
tell us
people don't.
more about Rome, but it's okay.
Not that. Now that's a different type of conversation. I wasn't sure we were here for that. So it was, I don't know, I just feel like a lot of people women aren't really open. Like, it's kind of like, like menopause and perimenopause. Like so many, like my mom's generation, no one's open about that conversation.
My
But I-
mother said she didn't remember. I was like, you lying.
Exactly, or it didn't bother you. My mom said,
Right,
that was nothing.
Yeah, right. It's never nothing to them.
Yeah, and I'm just like, but now I think this generation is all about it. Like the more you know about it, and the more you can, just tell people about it. Like I try to tell everyone about it. I tell all my friends, listen, I started a prednisone. Why not?
Yep.
And it helped me sleep better and helped me do that. And they're like, really? I hadn't done that. I'm like, girl, you better do it.
I hear you.
So, and I'm all about just talking and having real raw, open conversations because I think it's so important, like not to hide what all of us go through.
That's absolutely
It
right.
doesn't matter what color you are, how
Yep.
tall you are. It doesn't matter. We're all going to go through it. So I think it's so important to have those conversations. So back to the kids. I think that too is just like, it's important to say like, this didn't work out for me, or
Yep.
this is how I had my kid, or this is what I did, and this was my journey. And then it also helps you feel more like, oh, it's okay.
Yes.
Like, oh, one thing when I was pregnant, I checked my underwear every single time I went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, we
It's
all
like,
did that at some.
is it
some
still
point.
there?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like when no one
Yeah.
talks about that because it's just a natural. It's almost like a natural reaction.
It's so true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
because you just have stress the entire time you're pregnant until you actually give the baby. Then you have a whole nother stress. But
That's right.
but it's just like just, having those conversations.
I am so with you. One of the reasons why I like to be open and honest is because we didn't have that necessarily. And the truth is that we don't pay enough attention to women's health. There's so much we don't know about our bodies, so much that doctors don't share with us. Even the issue of conceiving and freezing eggs, if you don't have the right doctor at the right time, you may not get that information. I still know young women who aren't thinking about freezing their eggs because nobody mentioned that to them. So it becomes, do you have the right doctor? Are you in the right location?
Even if
do
you get
have
married
access?
later, you can still use those eggs with
That's
your
right.
husband. It doesn't, it's just you just have so many more opportunities and options. And so, I don't know, for me, I was really happy that I did it.
Buying a home is a big step. And thanks to Chase Home Lending and their local home lending advisors, you don't just have experts, you have people who are part of your community ready to offer support and guidance so you can feel confident at every stage of your journey. Settling into a new place comes down to small comforts, real connections, and the support of the community. You remember when we were growing up and our grandfather Southside, who lived 2 blocks away from us, would come over and fix things like the plumbing, painting, repairs, anything we needed. As a matter of fact, our whole family lived within a 2-block radius. So they were not only our family, they were our neighbors too. And one piece of advice I remember was from our Uncle Terry, who lived downstairs. And you know what that was? He told me, don't cut the grass right after it rains.
And I remember that he always mowed the grass in a 3-piece suit, a fedora, and suspenders. Maybe he took the jacket off, but he was a gentleman, a Pullman porter.
He sure was.
And had that push lawnmower. So
Yeah.
it was never the electric one.
Which is why he told me not to cut the grass right after it rained, because that thing would have never cut anything.
But we learned a lot about home ownership because Uncle Terry was the first homeowner that we lived with.
That we knew, yeah. You know, it's the small comforts, connections, and local support that make a house feel like a home. Wherever your journey takes you, we hope you find a place that feels just right. With Chase Home Lending, you can move forward with confidence, knowing help and real value are always close by, all the way home. Visit chase.com/IMO to get started. There's no commitment and no impact to your credit. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Opportunity.
So then you got pregnant, and you were in a Grand Slam tournament what? I mean, okay,
What's the question?
Can you walk us back to when you found out? And because you were pregnant when you
Yes.
won the Australian Open in 2017.
Yes, I had no intention of winning.
Yeah.
But just for the record.
you were just, I'm just here.
Just for the record, I
phoning
thought
it
this
in
was one time
like
I
you
could
do.
lose and not be upset about it.
Really?
No, because I remember thinking, so it all started in New Zealand. I was playing a tournament before the Australian Open in New Zealand, and I'm not the most positive person on the court. If anyone ever followed my career, everyone was making fun of Coco. Everyone see that? Making fun of
I know,
Coco,
right? And
smashing
Serena's
her
like,
racket.
oh,
And I had
you
to
just
say
hold
something because
on.
I was like,
Really? It's
can you
like-
smash that in one go? Like hello?
Coco, you can do better than that,
You
girl.
can do better than that. And then, of course, someone started pulling up all the pictures of rackets I smashed. I was like, wait, when is this a Serena roast? I was just trying to support her.
Just trying to help the girl out. Just get off my back.
So anyways, I was at this tournament with the famous attitude that I may have had sometimes. And I just lost to this girl that I just was I shouldn't have lost to. And I just remember I was just so mad. It was windy and I was mad at the wind. And it was the ball kid. I was mad at the ball kid. And I was so angry with everything. I was so mad. And I'm sure I smashed a racket. I was miserable.
Yeah.
And even in the presser after, we all know about pressers after.
Oh my God.
I said, I hate this place. I never did this in my life. I said, I hate this place. I'm never coming back. It sucks. I was miserable. So then next week I'm in Australia and I'm working out and I'm like, why am I breathing so hard? Why am I breathing hard? Anyway, eventually also my boobs were massive. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take a test. And I took a test, it was positive, but I was like, okay, this is crazy. And so anyway, so I ended up going to the doctor and he's like, oh, surprise, you're like, what am I, like 4 weeks pregnant? I'm like, no, you're 7 weeks pregnant.
Wow.
And I was like, wait, what?
What? Excuse me?
It was crazy, but then it all made sense as to why I was so bad. I mean, that was the worst of one of the worst of the worst.
And you weren't pregnant those other times. No.
Well, I was thinking about being a mom. I always wanted to be a mom.
Yeah.
That was probably in the back of my head. So then I was like, oh my gosh. So then I thought to myself, wow, self, what are we going to do? And so.
Self, there's a baby in here. Huh? And did you already committed to play at the Open?
Yeah, and I was supposed to play doubles. And so I pulled out of doubles, and Venus didn't tell me anything, but later on she said, when you pulled out, I knew you were pregnant. I'm like, how?
You didn't tell her?
No, because I also felt really bad because I was just like, I didn't want to pull out, and I didn't want her to be stressed. And then it was crazy. I couldn't, I just didn't want to stress anybody out. So one of my sisters knew, and the baby daddy knew, my husband.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
And my agent knew, Jill. So we just kept, but apparently Venus knew too. So she told, like, early on, it was like on the third round in the locker room, she told me, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I felt bad in the final because I was like, I always felt bad because I was like, she probably wanted to take it easy on me because she's always protecting me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I really wish she hadn't known.
Yeah.
Because then maybe, I don't know, maybe it would have been different, maybe it wouldn't have, but still, I just like to be super fair with whoever I'm playing.
Oh.
So yeah, so that's kind of how it happened. And then at the end, I was 9 weeks pregnant, and then
whoa,
it was nuts.
So how'd you feel through? I mean, look,
I was exhausted. I remember playing points, and so
most of us are just in bed. We in bed. We're not like breaking rackets. We just in bed.
I had
We're asleep
for that. But I remember thinking to myself, I can't play long points. I need to finish. I have to 3 shots and I have to be done. So I had I had to hit lots of winners and lots of aces, which is an insane
You were
strategy.
on a mission.
Yeah, but I hadn't planned on winning. But every time I kept winning, I was like, oh, I can beat her. And then, and I was like, oh, I can beat her. And then it was like, oh, I gotta beat her. She pissed me off. So she gotta go down. There was only 1 or 2 of those.
So you just revenged your way to the title. Oh, girl.
And then there was another one. I can't lose to her. I have some sort of pride. So that's how it happened.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So did it feel extra good that you were able to?
Okay, that's what I was saying. So
Yeah.
I couldn't have long points. So if I had a really long point, if you go back and watch the footage, I would lose the next point. And of course, it's only my opponents don't get that. They don't get to understand that rhythm because that's not normally how I play. But when you're getting but eventually you'll see that after a long point, Serena loses the next point. So you have to
because you're trying to catch your
breath.
breath.
Yeah, but I also have to keep a face on that doesn't let anyone know that I'm
struggling.
Exhausted.
Yes.
Like surely can't breathe. But women can do anything.
Amen. Amen.
especially with the help of God. You can do everything.
Amen.
And I knew I was having a girl because Australia gets really hot. They do Celsius, so it was like 43 is like 120. And one day I had to play in 43, and I was like, no way, there's
Yeah.
no way. And that's when I knew I'm having a girl, because I said to myself, no way can a boy.
Make it. They just sorry, y'all.
I
You just
genuinely
don't
said
have it in you.
I genuinely said, and I told my husband that day,
Yeah.
we're having a girl. There's no way a little boy could handle everything
Right.
I'm putting this baby under. And we had a girl.
That's right. Olympia was just like, Mom, we're cool.
Yeah.
We're cool. I got
She
you.
was-
I'm
hey,
hanging
she was
on.
hanging in there.
I wish you'd just win this point.
But you know what? She has a bad attitude like me.
Oh.
She gets angry if she doesn't win. She gets so mad.
Well, we don't call that a bad attitude.
Right,
We
what
call
do we
that
call that?
competitive, determined.
Thank you. Okay, we call that competitive.
Yes, that's what we.
Yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
no, that's what we call it. That is not a
Okay.
bad attitude.
It's not
because
okay.
if a man
'Cause I've
acted that way,
Yeah. Well, they told me for years it's a bad attitude.
Yeah,
So I
well,
love this.
but guess
I'm
what?
getting some good insights now.
We're both the youngest,
Mm-hmm.
and there's something about that determination. I believe, and I see it in my youngest. We have two girls, and I think when you're keeping up, I know I felt like my brother would deliberately learn how to play a game, go off, and then go, Mish, let's play. And I'm like, dude, he was just gonna beat me down.
What's the age difference?
It's a year and a half. It's almost 2 years. And so I'm always losing, and trying to keep up. And after a while, you just get pissed,
Yeah.
So I think there is a youngest child determinant
For sure.
in that.
Absolutely, for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
that doesn't explain Olympia because she's the oldest.
I know.
Okay.
I think it was just the situation that she was in.
Yeah.
A
So
little bit from it. That's okay, though.
So your labor and delivery experience was also a journey.
Yeah, that
Can we
was
talk about it?
That was a journey. I have these issues with my blood, so my blood can clot pretty easily. So I have to be on certain type of medicines, especially if I'm pregnant. I have to always take injections every day. So when I had the baby, after I couldn't breathe, and I kept telling the nurse, I kept saying, I can't breathe. And she was like, oh, well, you'll be fine. I said, no, actually, I think I need to get a CAT scan because I think I have blood clots in my lungs.
And you're in the hospital.
I'm in the hospital.
You had the baby. You had a C-section.
I've already had the baby. I had a C-section because she wouldn't come out. I knew I was going to have a C-section, so I just had this
How'd you know?
premonition.
Just
I just felt like I feel a lot. And I don't know, 3 months in, I was like, I'm having a C-section.
Wow.
And so when they told me I had to have a C-section, I wasn't surprised, and I went with the plan. And also tell women now, I say, listen, definitely if you want to push, go for it. I wish I could have done it. But also, if the doctor tells you they have to cut, do it. Because I've seen so many kids be so affected because women want to stick to their plan of I must push.
Yeah.
And I've seen kids come out unfortunate that and even die because they didn't follow follow what the doctor said.
Well, that's another thing that women take on, that birth has to look
it
a
has
certain
to look
way.
a certain way, yeah.
And I, for one, was like, I went in 5 centimeters dilated. I thought about natural birth for literally the conversation I had with my doctor that said, okay, it was like 8. And I said, well, how long is it going to take? How long am I going to have to be in this kind of pain? And she said, about 4 hours. And I was like, no. I was like, stick that needle right in my back. I think I could have done it if she had said an hour, right?
Yeah,
if she had said this baby's coming in an hour, I'm like, okay, I can do it. But 4 hours?
Yeah, no.
I was like, so, I mean,
I applaud the women that can do it.
well, it's wonderful.
Yes.
Yay.
It's not me.
For you. But I'm like,
I heard about
are
something
you?
called the Ring of Fire.
Oh yes,
can't
I
even hear
never
that.
want to meet the ring.
Me neither.
I don't know.
I don't know.
See, I'm always like, would you get your tooth pulled without anesthesia? Is there anybody here? Would a
would.
man do that?
Definitely not, no.
I know. You're going to be the butt of all the man jokes.
He's handling it well, though.
Steve over there cracking up. You know y'all are weak.
So anyway, I told the nurse that, and she just was like, "This is crazy talk," which it may have sounded like crazy talk for me to tell him to give her exactly, quote unquote, what I needed and how I needed it. And then I started coughing so hard, so all my stitches just like burst open because I couldn't breathe. And so like I was holding a pillow on my stomach and I was just coughing because I was just like, I'm like, they're gonna break, and I couldn't breathe, so I was just coughing, and they broke, and I had to have that redone. I think I had like 5 surgeries, and that, I don't know, I don't remember some of them. And then my doctor came in and I was like, I can't breathe, I think I need the CAT scan. And this is like after I'd already told the nurse, and then, because I remember my husband's parents were there, and I was in the room and they were talking and they were holding the baby, and I calmly walked, because I'm
You're
very
up
calm.
walking.
I calmly walked back, and I was like, I don't want anyone to panic. And that's when I told the nurse I can't breathe. I was just like, help me out here. And she didn't take me serious. So then when the doctor came, I was telling her I couldn't breathe, and she was like, okay. I could look at her and tell that I don't know if she believed me, but she did everything I asked. And I was really grateful that I had her and that she was with me for the whole pregnancy journey. And it's so good to have a doctor that will listen to you.
Yeah.
And you might say things that don't make sense, but still she heard me. She listened, and if she hadn't listened, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And she made sure that she did what I asked, and then she found exactly what I said. So then I had to have another surgery to get like something in my veins to stop clots from going to my heart. I had so many surgeries. It was
How
crazy.
long were you in the hospital after you delivered?
It wasn't that long. It was only like 8 days.
And you had that many surgeries in 8 days.
In 8 days, it was crazy. I think
And
I had
then
one
you
every
had to
day.
go home with a baby.
Then I had to, and I remember my only goal was to be able to walk to the mailbox, because I was like,
Yeah.
And one day I walked to the mailbox and I came back and I passed out for the rest of the day. It was very intense.
I remember watching the documentary that followed your comeback, and it really moved me to see you, because it showed you and you and the family leaving with Olympia in the carrier, and you were determined to carry her, but it was clear that you were struggling.
Yeah, I was
that you
really
were
struggling.
physically, you were not the Serena Williams everybody knew, but I also was very proud of you for showing that story. And anyone who hasn't, remind me the name
It was
of
Being
the
Serena.
Being Serena.
Yeah.
This is like watching her journey and her comeback. You show it all in a way that is so powerful. And if I didn't love you before then, I loved you even more, just watching your determination to get that baby home regardless of your health. But you were struggling.
Yeah, I was really struggling, but I also had some great help, and sometimes, family is so important, and not everyone has family. And so I just felt so grateful that I did have that. I had my husband and I had my family, and then because I don't think I remember the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I remember my husband's sister came to visit, and she told me like a year later, and I was like, I vaguely remember you there. I would have never remembered it if she hadn't reminded me. I was like, oh my gosh, everything was just so. It was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah, but it was good, and I think that everyone has their own journey. And I was blessed to have my journey. And the more I talk to women, the more I understand and see that everyone's journey is, not everyone, but a lot of women's journey is so intense.
Yes.
And
because
often worse than mine.
Giving birth is intense, which is
you put
why
your life on the line.
it is why maternal health should not be a political football. Because what our bodies do, what we are capable of doing is amazing. But the fact that there isn't research done on maternal health. There's a limited amount of information we get about our health. We aren't encouraged to ask questions. We aren't encouraged to talk amongst each other. And I just want us to vow today, regardless of our generation, that we don't pass that down to the next generation.
I agree.
That we owe them the knowledge, the wisdom.
Because we want to know.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
everyone wants to know, and they don't want to know if they don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it's just like knowledge is power, and it's like when you go to school, you would never know the things that you learn unless you're taught those. You weren't asked to learn about so many subjects, but you learn about them. And I feel the same way about us and our health and passing on that knowledge, and I think it's just so important.
So, we're back in LA for another round of IMO recordings, and it's All-Star Weekend.
I know. How's your trip going?
Really well. And Kelly and the kids are here. So we're going to try and check out some of these All-Star activities.
Yeah.
It's been a busy time at home with the boys' basketball schedules, and we've got a busy week of recordings here in LA. So it's always nice having a relaxing place to stay while I'm here.
I know what you mean. I mean, I don't have that issue, but I know from your experiences that when you're on the road, you got to have a place that feels kind of like home.
Exactly. And this time, my Airbnb has a steam shower, a fireplace.
Ooh.
But Mish, I know you've got quite a busy schedule of your own. You and Barack are prepping for a really big week of events. The grand opening of the Obama Presidential Center in June, right?
Yeah. We are so excited about the opening. The art in it is amazing, and we can't wait to share it with the community and with the world.
That's so great. And I'm sure Chicago will be seeing a lot of visitors that week, including myself and my family. With Airbnb, local hosts can offer those travelers a proper welcome. And with visitors arriving from all around the world for a big event like this, it's even more important that people have some comfortable places to stay. So, if you've got a place you're not using during a big event in your hometown, consider becoming a host on Airbnb. It's a great way to make some extra money and a fun way to share your city with fellow fans. Your home becomes part of their experience, and you get to help make their weekend feel even more memorable. So, Chicago, can't wait to see you in June.
See you there.
Well, let's turn to your mother. Because so much, everybody talks about your dad and the relationship with your dad. And your mom sits in those stands in a way that I could never. I just couldn't watch my kids play.
Yeah.
But she was always there. I had the opportunity to meet her briefly. I think we were in Wimbledon for the Olympics.
Yes, yeah.
And I was there representing the United States for whatever reason.
What sport?
Was good.
Did you get a medal?
I did not. I got no medal.
Oh,
But
I
you
would've
did.
given you a medal.
You got a few. But I met your mom. Talk about your mom.
Yeah.
Tell us about that amazing woman and what you've learned from her as a mother.
Well, my mom is a very strong woman. She's definitely not sharing all this information, though.
Yes, really.
She came from that generation where...
Mine either.
Yeah.
Marion,
but
it's like, don't remember anything.
Yes. She's very tough. My mom's very tough. And she's actually the oldest of her siblings. So she's always been a mom.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting to be something that you've always been, and then to grow up and to become a mother. And then she also took care of our grandkids, her grandkids. So my mom, I'll start growing up. Growing up, I wasn't the best tennis player. It was always Venus, who was so great. And so I was demoted to my mom's court because my dad, Venus always played with my dad. And because he was better than my mom, he actually taught my mom. My mom must have been an incredible athlete to learn how to play
Really?
that fast. And so from there, I would always be on her court. And so I always wanted to be on my dad's court because he was more easygoing and he was more fun. People always think the
he
opposite.
was easy. Yeah, really?
Yes. And so on my mom's court, there was no games. Like I had to be serious and I had to do all this stuff. But then looking back, I was able to see that she was able to instill so much mental toughness that I had that my sister actually did not end up getting because I had to do so much. I had to work so hard. I had to do so many more things on her court. Like there were no games. It was so serious. Like it was just, in the end, I was very grateful that I had that time with her to just focus on technique and focus on just not letting anything go, because it really showed up in my game as a professional athlete and mentally and physically. And so that came from my mom. And so my mom, then she traveled with us. Actually, the first tournament I ever won, we had to split again. My dad was with Venus, and I was with my mom in Paris. And it was my first tournament. I think I was like 16. And I remember we shared a room because I love Paris. So I remember like we were at this hotel on the other side of the Seine, the river. And I remember that we shared a room, and she had the bed, and I slept on the cot because I love sleeping on a cot.
Okay, all right.
That
That's
was the
news you
thing
can
growing
use.
up.
Serena Williams loves a cot.
Yes. And I remember every night I wanted to watch cartoons every night. I don't know.
Because you guys were big cartoon people. You like
I still
Disney.
am, by the way. I love animation.
I
I'm into Marvel.
I was going to let you
total,
blame that on the kids, but
Yeah,
no,
no,
you're
I-
still a
listen.
big kid.
Yeah. So I was still pretty young. I still had an excuse though. And so she didn't mind. And so like she watched it with me every night. And so it was such a good memory and it's a good moment. And I remember every night after I would win a match, because I always played this, I was in France and I played, my whole draw was French people. And the stadium was probably the size of this room, but it was loud, 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 loud. And so every time I played, everyone was massively against me, naturally, because I'm playing their country person. Nothing personal. It was crazy. And so every night I come home like, wow, I can't believe I got through that. And then every night, so I just kind of shut off my brain. We would watch some animated something, and then that was that. And so eventually when I won, I was just remember being so happy. And then I remember we called Venus, and she hadn't won, so she played another match, and she won her tournament. And so we both won different tournaments. And we were so happy. And so then you fast forward a little bit more, we start winning Grand Slams, and my mom was there for all the Grand Slams. And our first Olympics was actually in Sydney. And my mom was there. My mom's also very clumsy. So one time, and she loves sweets. So one time we were at Wimbledon and we see this woman hobbling along the road. And I'm like, Mom, what? And it's my mom. Like, Mom,
Oh my
what
God.
happened? What's going on?
What?
And I'm like, you need to see a doctor. I'm good. I'm going to get some
When
cookies.
you just drive past and she's hobbling on the
Yes,
road.
we're
Well,
like, why aren't you at the house? And she's like, I need some cookies. I'm what? Like, you are not okay. She had a broken toe. And
but she was going to
anything
get her
to get
cookies.
a cookie. And she used to always hide cookies under the seat when we were driving. She used to hide cookies, and my dad would be like, why are all these cookies under here? So she definitely has a sweet tooth, which is kind of funny. But I have so many good memories
What
of my
was it
mom.
like being coached by your mom?
So,
how
yes,
did
so
that
being
affect
coached-
was that always good? Because we got a lot of moms out here probably
Yeah.
did their share of coaching. How did your mom maintain that sort of special mom relationship, or did she?
So I think what a lot of people don't realize is that we travel every time we went to Australia, probably actually every time we went to France. My mom was always there. My dad actually never went to those tournaments. And so she was always our coach for all that time. And so I don't know how many Australian Opens I've won. And she
A lot.
Yes. so she basically coached me through all of them. And I remember one time when I was 89 in the world and everyone had written me off. I was like 20 something. And they said I would never win again, blah, blah, blah. And she told me in the final, before I played, I think I was playing Maria in that final, Maria Sharapova. She said, you've got this, you're gonna do this. She told me exactly how to play, and I won in less than an hour, and it was really genius. So she actually was a very great coach, and she'll say little things. My mom is not someone that's gonna fill a room. She's gonna say one word,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be the most powerful word in the room, and that's it. And so she'll say one thing like, you need to attack the forehand, or if it's low, or there's something, but you have to listen.
Yeah.
And if you listen, you can catch on to it and you can be like, okay. And that's the kind of person she is, even in life. You know, she always says like, about raising my kids, she'll be like, you need to be with those girls.
Yeah.
And so no matter what's happening in the world or what we're all going through, I always remember, I gotta be with those girls. You know, because she was always there with us. And now that looking back, like she never spent a day away from us, all the girls.
Yeah.
And then she's also the kind of person, like my sister unfortunately passed early on.
Yeah.
And she's the kind of person that I remember when she found out, like we all were just traumatized. She just dropped everything and she moved to LA actually. And then she took care of the grandkids and she raised them and she never moved back. So that's the kind of person that she is. She's used to responsibility.
Yeah.
And she has a lot on her shoulders, but she's so proud to carry it. And then now she's instilled that into all of our daughters, to just carry that power, to carry that strength, and to pass it on to our kids and to my kids and all the other grandkids. So it's really, she's an amazing person. Yeah, that's
beautiful.
That's the quick version.
Yeah,
It's so much that I can say about my mom, but
No, I love
she's
hearing about your mom. Really.
the last thing I'll say is, we do talk about our dad a lot, and we wouldn't be here without our dad.
Yeah.
Obviously wouldn't be here without my mom. But I've always described my mom I always describe us like this. My dad is the body, because it was his vision, it was his goal, and it was his dream. But my mom is the spine. You cannot function without that spine, the nerves that come from it, the nervous system. You can have a dream, you can have everything all set, but it's not going to work unless you have that part of you.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I describe my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of mom are you? Are you a spine-like mom? I always ask this question a lot about parenting philosophy. Because I think one of the things I admired most about my mom, my mom didn't go to college. My parents were working class folks. She was the middle of 7. But my mom was so emotionally intelligent, and she had such great common sense, just like your mom. Wouldn't have to say much, but everybody wanted to hear from her. And one of the things that I learned from her was that, you just don't have kids. You have to understand that you're raising people. And so her approach to raising us was to talk to us like who she wanted us to be later on, She didn't treat us like babies. She loved us dearly, but she believed that all kids are born with a level of intelligence and ability, and she treated us that way. So she taught me, as I grew up, I was like, my mom had this really deep philosophy about parenting. Stuff you learn in sociology and psychology classes just came naturally to her. So I kind of think about parenting as this huge responsibility to think about, where am I trying to get my girls? Not how I feel in the moment. So I always wonder what folks' parenting philosophies are. And do you think you have one? And how would you describe your mothering approach?
So Venus is a planner. She writes everything down. Even when she got married, it was just, boom, everything was just over. It was a lot.
Yeah.
To be honest. Don't worry, this is coming full circle. So she was always a person that read books, like that would get through everything, like would know exactly what she wants to do. So I think I'm different. I don't have like that plan.
Yeah.
I never had like a philosophy. I just, as organized as I am in my life,
Yeah.
like to a point where everything is labeled, my parenting skills is different. I kind of feel like, obviously I have spiritual goals for the kids.
Yeah.
I have, ideas for education goals. I have those types of things, but I never really thought much about my philosophy is just to be the best that I can to show up. And to also I felt like I loved my parents and how they raised us, and just kind of pick and choose out of some of the things that they raised us with, in particular with my mom, how she raised us. So for me, I really try to be a present parent, and sometimes that's hard, especially with the lives that we live. It's very hard to be present, but I try to be extremely present.
How do you manage that? I mean, like you said,
Everything is around my kids. If I have to do something, I'm gone more than 24 hours ever. Normally, I didn't leave Olympia until she was 6 for 24 hours. So that may have been a little extreme, but that's who I am. And so for me, I show up as much as I can every single day for the girls, because I feel like they mean the most to me, and I feel like they need me, and they need to make sure I want to raise my children.
Yeah.
I'm a person that's raising my kids,
Yeah.
and that's teaching them how I want them to live and how I want them to be.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. So, like me, you have 2 girls.
Yes.
And
I wanted to copy you.
Yeah.
You were so inspiring to me.
And 3 years apart. Way to go. How is that? I always thought I was going to have 3 boys. I don't know why. I don't know why. I always thought I was a bit of a tomboy when I was younger.
I could see you with sons.
Yeah, I followed around my brother. I love boys. I thought they were funnier than girls. I've learned, you guys, you have some qualities.
As she looks at Steve
Right.
again.
Steve is the target. So I always thought I was going to be the sports mom, and then I have these 2 girls, and I am so grateful for my little women, and they are just amazing grown women now, 28 and 24, out in the world. And I can tell you, I have loved every second of mothering, every second. But it's just interesting, the same gender, 2 girls. And I talk to my friends who have boys, and they're like, boys are definitely different. Malia and Sasha could sit and color for hours. We could get on a plane. And I talk, mothers of boys, you all laugh at that, right? I mean, they sit and read and color, and you can talk to them, and there's no throwing anything. I don't think we had a lot of balls around the house. Then I go to my brother's house who have nephews, and they would come to visit at the White House, and they just walk in sweaty, I mean, I was like, why are they wet, You just got here. And they come in damp and just throw cars and balls all on the first floor of the White House. And I'm like, ooh, this is different. But anyway, I digress. Your precious little ladies, how are they, how does it feel being a mom to daughters?
Yeah, as you know, I've always wanted to be a mom. I've only wanted girls. I could have 10 girls, I would be happy. I grew up with 4 sisters.
Yeah.
So I was the 5th sister. I've never been around boys.
Yeah.
So when I got pregnant, I actually had a quick panic attack.
Like,
I was so certain it was a girl,
Uh-huh.
but when they took the blood to do the blood test, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do if I have a boy. I've never been around boys. And I really I was going crazy. I was like, I can't have a boy. And so I remember I went nuts. So I was like, I don't know what to do. So that That's all I know is girls, and I just always wanted girl. I've always been growing up. I always wore dresses, and I was that girl with the princess.
Yes, your twirl.
The
We know
twirl,
your
the
twirl.
tutus, like that was all me. And so,
Yeah.
I love dressing them up. They're actually right now, I think Olympia's wearing a Mulan dress as we speak
Of course.
because they're at Disney World. And
So
then,
she must be in Milan.
yes, and
My
then
idol.
the little
Look at
one is
me.
wearing an Anna dress.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, oh, can you go buy them more dresses, please? So I'm like, all that. I'm just, yeah. So my older daughter is very much like me, like very much like girly, girly girl. And my younger daughter is somewhat like somewhat like me. I always describe her as like she'll wear a princess dress with tennis shoes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
like
so
that
like
in
she
her.
plays with cars.
Yeah,
It's just
okay.
like one of my sisters play with cars a lot, so she reminds me a little bit of her. So she loves Hot Wheels, but she'll wear Hot Wheels while wearing like a Rapunzel dress.
It's like,
or
where's
a
my tiara?
dress?
Give me the Corvette.
And I love it. I love it. I'm like, oh, and Olympia and I have never because Olympia's 5 years older than Adira, so we never played with cars and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're all like, oh, this is actually really fun. So Olympia and I are always playing with Adira's toys. We're like, oh, look it go. So it's nice that we have a little bit of a mix like that. It's really fun.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Apple Gift Card, the perfect way to celebrate graduates and empower them for their next adventure. I've had my 2 older kids graduate, plus, of course, my nieces and nephews, and finding the right gift can be tricky. If your kids are like mine, they'll always have opinions, right? And I've learned the best gifts are the ones where they get to choose. That's why an Apple gift card just makes sense. They can use it for everything they love. Maybe some AirPods, on apps, games from the App Store, or subscriptions like Apple TV, Apple Music, even Apple Fitness Plus. Whether they're heading off to college, starting a new job, or just celebrating, they get exactly what they want when they want it. And it couldn't be easier. You can grab an Apple gift card online or at a bunch of retailers. Send it digitally or hand it to them in person. Super simple for you and for them. Visit applegiftcard.apple.com to find the perfect graduation gift today. When was the last time your shopping delivery service really delivered? I've had days when I'm bouncing between meetings, studio time, trying to get home before friends come over, and then I realize my grocery delivery guy made some creative choices. Like the time I asked for marinara sauce and they brought me salsa. Well, Shipt is different. I found that shoppers with Shipt are no ordinary shoppers because they know that no order is ordinary. They put extraordinary care into what they do. Shoppers with Shipt really understand me and my shopping needs. For example, my desire for extremely thinly sliced cheese. I love it when they text me to make sure they've got the order correct or to find a good substitution, or like how they always double check expiration dates on the milk I've ordered so that I'm getting the freshest option. It's the little things. Shoppers with Shipt shop your favorite stores same day from places like Lowe's, PetSmart, Michael's, and more. Use code podcast to get a year of Shipt for only $49, half off the regular $99 price at shipt.com/offer. That's SHIPT.com/offer. Terms apply.
How do you balance your parenting philosophy with your husband? How are you,
Well,
what have you learned from him about parenting?
So one thing he's a and this is a positive word now.
Okay, yes.
He's a nerd.
Okay, yes, it is very
This is
much.
very positive.
Especially a nerd with a job. We
Yes,
like those.
we love nerds.
We love nerds. Nerds pay the bills.
So he's all about explaining.
Okay.
So he'll like
A lot of explaining.
yes. So so Olympia does something, he'll like tell Olympia like, okay, so why do you think you're learning about this? And then he goes into this whole reason as to why. And I'm like, that's good. So I like how there's like a balance.
Yeah.
Like he like kind of gives her the reasons, and she understands, like, she'll ask a question about something, he'll go in a deep version about it. But it's nice because then she gets that knowledge, and she really really gets it. And then for me, my philosophy is like, what do you like to do? How are we going to do this together? It's super important not to ever diminish what he's doing as the man of the house. You want to make sure that you're always uplifting him. That's my philosophy. So I always want to make sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
And also with things that I want, like I want the kids to do this, to whatever sport, or to go to this school, or just coming together for those decisions. So I feel like we work very well in that part.
That's great. It's great. I always say, you can have one kid and, swear you're a good parent. It's like, I got this. Look at me. I know all the things. And then you have the other one. And, kids, babies, they come into this world as their own individual selves, truly. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, like snowflakes, really. But it can be a challenge if you think that, one size fits all in parenting.
Yeah. As a parent, when I make a mistake, I make sure I say sorry.
Absolutely.
Because it is important first of all, to have that humility and to teach my daughters humility. And second of all, I never want them to think that a mom can't apologize to someone younger.
Absolutely.
So I've been wrong a few times with Olympia, and I am the first to tell her, you were right. I didn't do that right. I'm sorry. And so it's just, I think it's a good practice for me, and hopefully maybe someone else, but I feel like it's a very good thing to do.
I totally agree. And I've apologized a lot. Raising kids in the public eye, I mean, we both have done it. It just makes the process 10 times more unnerving,
Right.
because, you worry that your kids can't make mistakes because it's going to be on page 6, I mean, we would have those kind of conversations about, our girls had to learn to think like comms people, like comms directors, and at a very young age. And it served them well today. I mean, they are very poised, very mature, but it's a lot of pressure that they didn't ask for.
Yeah.
How are you approaching the public nature of who you are, how you live? How are you thinking about that at this stage in the girl's life?
So that's one thing that I try to do, and I never as public as you. I can't imagine the scrutiny that you guys had to go through, especially the children, every single day. So for me, I just try to make sure that my children are very normal. I pretty much live under a rock. I live in a very small town in Florida where I can go anywhere, and it's normal because Michael Jordan also lives there.
Yep.
And
Sort of like,
I'm
everybody's like, we all want to go to this magical place where you can run
I'm
into
basically-
Serena and Michael at the 7-Eleven.
and Tiger, and like everyone lives in this small city.
We're not going to divulge where that is because everybody's going to be there.
And so everyone is normal, but it was really important for me not to.
Normal-ish.
Just a lot of
Normal-ish.
athletes live in this town.
Really?
I don't know why.
It's like, wow.
But it's great because it's been normalized as we've been all living in there for so many years, but it works. And so for me, I try so hard to make sure Olympia is just like everyone else. Like, she's not seen as anyone special. I don't tell her that she's special. I never told her I played tennis. You know, when she started reading, she saw me and she asked questions.
She's like, what are you doing, Mom? Come sit back in the audience with everybody else. Put that racket down, you
I remember
silly
one
goose.
time in kindergarten, she's like, Mom, why are you in my book? So eventually she learned. But I don't live that life where, you think that and this is funny, but it's also very true. We also have friends that are very famous. So when we hang out with them, they seem extremely normal.
Yes, yes.
So we go to Michael's house or Tiger's house, it's like, okay, you're good.
Yeah.
So it is very average for
Yeah.
us. And so that's what I want them to do. I don't want them to ever feel like, because I don't want them to feel they're better than anyone else or they have an advantage, because we don't need that anymore in this system that we live in.
Yep.
We just need some kids that are just as normal as you can be. So that's what I do. And if they want to grow up and they want to be a great athlete or they want to be a great programmer, then they have every right to do that. And they're going to have an advantage because of the life that I've lived, and the life my husband lived. Sure, they're still going to have an advantage, but they're still going to have to work hard to do that and to make any goal that they want to make. And so for me, it's super important that they understand that and that they don't feel like they're better than anyone else.
Yeah. I hear that you served as the classroom mom?
Yeah, I was room mom because I love my daughter and I'm obsessed.
When was this recently?
Yeah, since she was in second grade. Yeah.
Tell us about that.
That was
Serena on the
fabulous.
text. Everyone, you bring cookies?
That was me.
That was you?
That was
Oh,
me.
man.
It was so fun because I got to go to the school every day, or if I wanted, I could be in the classroom. And
Yeah.
So one time I was there for the spelling bee, and I was like, pretending to work on the library. But I was watching all the kids spell, and then poor Olympia got her word wrong, and I was like, poor kid. She did her best, though, but she tried. But I didn't say anything. I pretended I didn't hear because I didn't want her to feel the pressure that I was there. And it was so fun. I got to help organize I love organizing. So I got to organize all the food for the Teacher Appreciation Day and all the field trips and everything for that
Okay,
year.
so your daughter doesn't know who you are, but those teachers and parents know
But
who
you know
you
what?
are.
They're really cool about it. Like, no, they're really, really, they're really cool. I feel like they don't treat anyone any different throughout the whole school.
Yeah.
And, and the school is also very tough. So you have to really be on it and go show up every day. And so it's really nice.
Well, we are running out of time, and I know it's been short, but I want to give us time to wrap it up, and I would love for you to share with this room of moms, especially moms of athletes who have made a level of sacrifice. What advice do you have? What parting words of wisdom do you think you can share? I know that's heavy.
Yeah, I don't know if I have advice. I feel like you guys have done it. You've made it. I mean, to be in this room is a super win already. I would say I have more appreciation. I'm sure you hear it from your kids, but if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be on these teams. And you know what? I just, as someone that had my mom supporting me, I feel so grateful to my mom every single day to give me this opportunity to believe in me, even when things were rough and things were down, to show up every day for me, to be there when I didn't want to be there, to tell me to go an extra day when I didn't want to go, So I think all your sons can agree that they're super grateful for what you guys have done for them, because without you, they wouldn't be there. So I think you guys deserve a huge pat on the back, a huge round of applause. And so happy for the opportunity that you've given your children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's next for Serena in life that you want to share? Not trying to break
Hey.
news. Just, girl, I'm just like, how you doing? And what's going on? You got so much on your plate. What are you most excited about next?
I'm most excited about, getting back to my girls.
Yes.
And I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of opportunities, and just deciding which ones I want to go with and see which direction I'm gonna.
Okay, that was a good way to not. That was a good way to absolutely say nothing.
I'm healthy, so I'm just happy to
You
be
sure
healthy.
are, girl.
Yes.
You look great.
Yes.
You look great.
Thank you.
Serena, thank you. Thank you for
Thank
taking
you
the
so
time
much.
to
This
be
was
with
so
us.
fun. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your honesty, your openness. Keep doing that. The world needs this information. They need to see their idols being normal human beings in the world, being grounded and protective of the people that they love. I am always proud of you. I'm happy to share this stage with you. And hopefully we'll do something again soon.
Yes, believe me, the pleasure was mine. I had so much fun. Thank you all for having me. Can we take a selfie before we go?
We can. I just
Yeah.
want to say thank you to all the moms on behalf of this mom here. Thank you for your sacrifice, for your love, for setting the foundation for the next generation. It is the most important work that a person can do in life, I think, is to raise a decent human being. Because I think that if everybody took that job as seriously as everybody in this room, we'd solve a lot of problems that way, just by taking care of the people we choose to bring into this world. So we are grateful to you all.